Hey guys, welcome back. Last time on our 60 watt we changed out the laser head, so this time we need to realign it and do a ramp test. Alright guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember that we always have our discount code in the description of the video below.
Alright, in our last video we showed you how replacing a laser head would go, and we did our test at the end and we're getting some reflections off of the laser. Most likely, my guess, because I think we got the mirror pretty much dead back on, is that it's not adjusted exactly the right height. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a post-it over where the laser comes in. We're going to just pulse the laser real quick. We're going to see where it hits there, see if it needs to move up or down slightly, and we'll keep doing that until we get it lined up where we want. So remember to be safe during this. I haven't plugged the laser in yet, but I'm going to plug it in. Definitely going to close it. That's why I'm going with the sticky note so that it'll hold itself on. Just pulse it real quick, turn the laser back off, get in and check. I have had people comment on forgetting to turn it off and got a zap. Do not forget to do that. Safety is always first. So let's get this turned on and see where the alignment's at. Alright, laser is on. Post-it note is in. I've adjusted the laser so it's in a different spot than it was before. Gonna hit pulse, safety glasses on, and then we will show you where it hits on the post-it. Alright, I might have hit the button too long because it scorched it real quick. It's like a tap, but I can automatically tell that it's a bit high, or it's a bit low. I'm going to move this in a different spot and try to hit it faster to see if we can get a better view of it. This time it's going to be real fast. Okay, that one was much better. Let me just get a little pinhole now. And it definitely appears that our laser head in general is too low. I'm going to loosen the Allen wrench bolts and see if I can raise this up at all. Alright, I'm going to turn it back on and see what it does to the piece of wood. Now if this doesn't work, we'll just keep going with the post-it note, but we're hoping to not see the mirrored image of the burn, those two extra little half moons. Alright, so now we can see what it's doing, and it's reflecting. One's closer, but it's also doing it out a bit. So I'm going to keep adjusting that until we get it in line. Part of it maybe it's not quite vertical or the tube's too far open, so we'll play around with it and see what we can figure out. Okay, so I got it back in line. It took quite a bit of up and down with it. What I ended up doing is that I put the post-it on it and then I pushed real, not super hard, but I indented it to where I knew where the circle was, and then I just kept moving the laser head around until it was in the middle of the mirror. So this is finally the successful one. Went through a few post-its, but that's fun. And then I did a few different tests on it to get exactly where it is there, and now what we want to do is the actual ramp test. And I'm going to flip it over to our mostly blank side of this scrap piece. The general concept of a ramp test is that we set the board at an angle where we think the 0 point's somewhere in the middle of it. Sorry, that's really loud. What I'm going to do Right now it's actually set at what the laser thinks is its 0 point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'm going to take the Z-axis and I'm lowering it to where it's out of focus on purpose. Then I'm going to put this underneath one side. So now we've got the board at an angle. And what I've done in light burn, I just made a rectangle. We're going to burn the rectangle, and then we're going to look at where it burns and where it's the finest point, smallest, cleanest line. That's what we're going to do as our 0 point. We'll measure where that's at, and then adjust the autofocus until that's where it is focused at when you run the autofocus. So we're going to do this burn real quick, and then we will see what it looks like. Okay, have it in place and framed. The laser's doing all kinds of wonky things, so we're not paying attention to the laser pointer, just where it burns. So we're gonna run this and see how it looks. Okay, so I probably could have burned it a little slower, but you can tell where it's not as good down here, and then it's not as good up here, and it's really nice like right in this spot is where it's got a really good clean line. So I'm gonna get my calipers out, I'm gonna measure to this line, and then I'm gonna take this board out, put it flat, autofocus it, and see where we're at as a difference. So unfortunately my battery's dead, so we're gonna do it more manual style. So what this does is I can just lock it down and then it can't move. Just twist that down and then it's snug. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that on the piece of wood and then pull this up to where this piece right here is on the bottom of the gantry, and we will get feel for exactly where that's at. That feels really good right there. We're not pushing on the wood too much. I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to tighten it. Alright, that feels good. Now we are going to flatten the piece of wood, and I'm going to run the autofocus on it, and then we're going to see how different it is. Close that just for noise. Just in a close spot. And the autofocus, if you've forgotten, we can go into the menu hitting the Z/U. We can scroll down to autofocus option and we hit enter. And then it automatically will do this. Now, So either they've got it really dialed in well from the start, or I guessed really well when I put the autofocus in. Either way, I haven't done this yet, so this is the first time doing it. We're going to leave it right where it is because it's pretty much dead on with where we wanted it. And I am going to run just one of the programs we have in here, see how it looks. If it looks good, we'll call it good. If it doesn't, we'll see what kind of dialing we need to do. Alright, I've got files saved on this, so we're just going to grab one of them. Let's see, file. The cool thing about saving them on here is that it actually shows you a picture of what it is. That's one of the gnome we cut out. Oh, we'll go with this. We've got our logo, just KLR, and we'll see what it does. So you pick that one, you hit enter, it changes the settings to your power. This is going to be 400 millimeters a second at 40%. So we just hit frame, which will show us where it's at. And that doesn't help us at all, so let's move the board. Hit frame again. That looks great. And now we can hit start. Alright, so that actually looks really good, but it's up higher than I thought it was going to be because I was looking at what the laser was outlining instead of, because that's what I was going off of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it over here, I'm going to pulse it, and then I'm going to adjust the laser to get it back in place. So I'm going to turn that back on. Now we are going to pulse. I'm going to pulse for a little bit to make sure we got a good spot, and then we will adjust the laser accordingly. Okay, so it's not way far out. You can feel it's got a little play in there, so these are just Allen wrenches like everything else. So I'm going to adjust that and then I'll tighten it. Now I do have this open and I do have this on, but the reason it's okay is because the laser key is in the off position, so this cannot fire like this. So always remember to stay safe. Alright, got that tightened up and in place. I'm going to move the laser a little bit into a new position, key back on, and we will pulse again. I'm moving the laser out of the way a little bit. Yep, that's perfect. Great. Alright, and with that, we have finished getting it realigned, getting the ramp test done. We've got it focused exactly where we want it. Laser is good to go again. Alright guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for coming and watching, and we will see you next time.